Morning all! So I think it's about time that we ordered our heating, because if we don't get our heating done, we're not going anywhere this winter, even when we're allowed to. So yeah, let's do that today then. So I'm no stranger to, you know, camping in the cold. We spent 10 months in New Zealand living in a car with no other heating than the car's heating, which we didn't even use because that used too much fuel. It was a very old car.
There was frost on the inside of the windows.
But yeah, this time around, we just don't feel like it. So we're not going anywhere until we have heating running in the van. So today, we're gonna set up our research office in the van, and we're gonna use the opportunity to... yeah, like that. So yeah, basically we're gonna take you along on our normal research day, and hopefully by the end of the day we're gonna have our heating bought and coming. So we have made a few calls and tried to figure out exactly what we need. That includes every clip, clamp, type of clamp, size of clamp. So we've written a list of exactly which products we need, and the gist of it is we need the Webasto Thermotop Evo 5, which is the burner itself. We need a glycol mixture tank to hold the glycol. Then we need tank to pipe connector, pipe to pump connector, glycol pump, pump to, what's that?
Pump to pipe connector.
Pump to pipe connector, pipe, and then pipe to furnace connector, and the list goes on in the same fashion. And I'm pretty sure that this might seem overkill in terms of writing this down, but it really helps, and I can guarantee you we have missed something. Definitely.
Because chances are, if we don't write this list down, we'll order the kit, it will come, and then we'll say, we need this thing.
So we found 3 companies that we like that do offer the furnace plus some of the add-ons such as the heat exchangers and the matrices and the pipes. However, we need to compare them. What a surprise. They don't have obviously identical kits. Even their basic kit doesn't actually list out the same things. So some of them actually point out that they have all the fittings. The other ones don't say that they don't have the fittings, but they don't say that they do have the fittings.
Some of them even have pictures of some fittings, but say they have all or none. Anyway, so we found these 3 companies, and all of them say they do this bespoke kit service, which to me implies that you can just tell them what you want, they'll put it in a kit and tell you how much it costs.
But to tell them what we want, we have to know what we want.
It's like with the electrics. You know you need a battery, an MPPT, a DC to DC. It's all the little eyelets and wires and connectors and terminals and all that. That is what we need to know. And I'm hungry for it. Oh, and also we need to know all the outlet pipe sizes for all these devices as well, because some of them have 15 mil, some of them have 90 mil, some of them have 20 mil.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Hold on. You haven't seen the full diagram. Hold on. Okay. Here's my nose pile. So this is our diagram, you know, trying to make sense of the system that we wish to get. So the heating system we're going with is a Hydronic central heating system that can work to both heat our water and our air. Right here we have a Hydronic heater that is attached to a diesel tank. This tank can be a separate tank from your vehicle's diesel tank, or you can tap into your diesel tank. Then the short of it is you have a glycol expansion tank up here, then a pump that pumps the glycol into the furnace. The glycol then gets heated up and then pumped out into your living room system. The hot glycol can pass through various heat exchangers and matrices to heat whatever you want. Here we have a heat exchanger that can heat up the water in the shower, and then that runs to an air matrix that has fans that then blow the heat out into the living space. And then all that happens is the glycol, as it cools down, it runs back to the header tank and back into the heater, and the loop starts again. Now we are thinking to use the opportunity of the loop back to the tank to zigzag the hot pipe underneath our floor, and that would act as underfloor heating. That way we use as much of the heat from the pipe as possible instead of just putting it back in the tank for it to be reheated again. You know, everything just rises up in the van. Plus, who doesn't want underfloor heating? You know, if it works.
So I guess we'll eat our muffin and then ring people and see what kind of kit they can build for us and how much that will be, and whether they can tell us all the connections. Hello, is this Butler Technique? I'm looking at the Webasto Thermotop Evo 5 kits to be installed in a camper. The idea was basically two settings, two systems. One where essentially we want the underfloor heating on, and then the other main line we were thinking is if I just want to heat the hot water but not the underfloor, then tee off the piece as it comes out the furnace, and instead of it going through the entire underfloor bit, we just pass it through a smaller line.
I mean, that all sounds very doable. My only concern initially is that when you bypass a matrix and you bypass the underfloor heating, you need to be careful that you don't make your heating, the coolant circuit too short, because the heater will get the coolant up to temperature too quickly.
Yes. Is there an advice on what the minimum length for a circuit would be for this sort of heater?
So for a Thermotop Evo, the minimum coolant volume is about 4 litres. I would say you want 5 plus, to be honest. You don't want to be on a minimum.
Half an hour later.
Okay, what did we find out?
Everything in that kit will be able to connect to each other. Mm-hmm. And basically he said you can get the basic system working. So if you just connect everything together and turn the on button, it'll run. And then anything additionally that you want to split off or have 2 circuits or put a radiator in it or whatever, you have to just buy externally because they don't sell it. He did make a very good point about the cooling circuit being too short when you have 2 different circuits. So because we wanted 2 different circuits, one for the full system, the underfloor heating, and then one if we just want to heat the hot water. Yeah. The hot water system one, where it only runs essentially from under the van to the shower and then back to the tank. Yeah. You can include the tank as a volume in your circuit.
But the tank will get hot.
Which means you need to insulate it, or depending on where it's stored. And it's not really recommended that those tanks get hot because they're made of plastic. He said for the basic system that we explained, you know, so just the very simple one, he said if they're all in series, so they all fall one after the other, it should be fine, and that kit should do it.
If the lines are busy, the system will prompt you to leave a voicemail, which is the quickest way for us to call you back.
We're now on chat.
Resorting to chat.
Yeah, because we can't reach anybody at the moment via phone. And this person is aggravating.
If you are unsure of what you are doing with this system, I recommend going to a mechanic and have them design it for you.
He can give advice on parts but cannot answer design questions. Well, we're not asking you design questions, mate. We're asking you which controller we need for the furnace you're selling. That's a part.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You know when somebody is basically speaking to you like 1 + 1 = 2?
I'm pretty sure salespeople don't like us.
No, they hate us.
No.
We only ask questions when we honestly need an answer, like a technical answer. If we haven't been able to find it ourselves, we've been digging for a very long time and we just cannot understand it.
The chat has closed. I asked too many technical questions. It just says send us a message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Let's see if we can get through to someone else. Yep. Hito just straight up went nope. Yeah, so I've got a couple of questions about, as I said, the Webasto Thermotop Evo 5 kit that you sell. The application that I'm planning to use it for is to install in a camper van and use it to heat a glycol mixture and run that through an air matrix and a water heat exchanger.
With the Evo 5s, I'll try and explain as clearly as I can because it can get confusing. There's two different versions of the heaters. Now, that one's a vehicle only because that's a preheater which only runs for 50 minutes. What you need is the RV version of that one, which basically runs continuously while ever the heater's switched on. Eberspacher, they do it differently. Their heaters are RV and vehicle all in one unit, so it has like it's a multi-unit. I think you get more value for money with that because you're not spending over, I'm trying to think, if you spend over £1,000, you're not getting much more for your money because obviously it's the same kit. And this one's also got, which has got the edge on the webasto, it's got a high altitude system built into it.
Yeah.
So this will work at high altitude, whereas the webasto, it doesn't. You have to get another upgrade option and obviously spend more money.
How did the controllers work with having both a furnace, so to turn the furnace on and off, and then also with the air matrix to control the temperature of the living space? Living space.
Basically, that's just the basic kit.
So, like 10 hours, 10 centuries later, we have a few more answers. We spoke to Mela Online, to Stuart, and he deserves a shout out because he was really nice. He answered our most pressing question of how do the controllers work, so the thermostat and such. The gist of it is you need two controllers, one to turn on the furnace on and off, and the furnace maintains a constant temperature of the glycol, so that's like 80 degrees. And then basically for the blowers, the air matrix that we're gonna add in sequence, that then you have to get a more standard thermostat with a knob.
Two knobs.
Well, two knobs, yeah. One controls fan speed and the other one controls the temperature. That's generally what I thought it might be the case, but it's nice to have somebody competent confirm that.
The other thing he said is that, so we were looking at the Webasto Thermotop Evo 5, and he said there are two versions of that Evo 5. The original version, which is what it was originally designed for, is for preheating engines in cars. So you connect it to the car's cooling system and run it that way. And that only runs for 90 minutes and then it turns off.
55, I think.
Oh, 50 minutes.
I think 55 minutes, he said.
Oh, okay.
Never mind. A said number of minutes.
And then the other one is more designed for RV applications, and that runs continuously, but they don't have them in stock. So he directed us to the Eberspacher equivalent of the Webasto Thermotop 5, which we also had on our radar as well. They seem to be nearly interchangeable in terms of they're a German-made diesel-powered furnace.
But there are definite advantages to the Eberspacher one, and especially if it is actually the thing we need, and the Webasto one that's available is not the thing we need, then it's a no-brainer.
Alright, let's go get lunch and come back to this.
So we're about to get a call from Mela Online, from Stuart, and apparently he has a quote for us to see whether we can afford our heating. We sent him this. I think we showed you that. Yeah. So let's hope that helped to understand what we want.
We put it basically in text form as well. Every single product that we think we're going to need, any alternatives. So it's going to call us back, and we're going to basically go back and forth with some questions, I guess, and see how much he estimates it will cost. And maybe we might buy it. Maybe I need my wallet.
So far, I'm pretty happy with the customer service and, you know, how involved he is, you know, with no guarantee that we're going to buy, really, from us. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Good sales tactic. Pay attention to your customers. Okay, so the quote has come through and is roughly what we expected, really. Yeah, so these are the product codes and the modifications that we wanted on the kit, and it seems fine. We are gonna double check the I'm stuck. We're gonna double check obviously the everything in it, and any of these clamps and things. We hope we're gonna have enough in the kit, but if we need any more, we'll just go get some spare, because they're not like custom ones. They're, I think, what are they called?
Jubilee clips.
Jubilee clips. Yeah. So I guess we're about to buy. So we're gonna do that and catch up with you in a minute. There's a van. Who's that? I think we've got the heating. What do you have?
Heating.
Heavy?
Ooh. Yeah.